Hey guys, welcome back. This is week 41 Project Life, and this week I am using the brand new November Life Crafted kit from Citrus Twist. This kit is called Legendary, and they aren't kidding, it's another gorgeous, lovely kit. I have started with my photos and I'm going through some of the 3x4 cards. There weren't really any 4x6 cards that I want to use for a title card this week. I sort of am going to play things a little bit differently in that I feel like my photos this week have a lot of color in them, and that might be partially because we're like heading back into spring, and so things are a little bit lighter and brighter and more colorful around here. And so as far as everything else that I'm going to add to the spread, I kind of want to keep it a little bit lighter, brighter, and neutral. So I'm not going to add too much color this week, which is a little bit of a departure from the norm. So instead of using those really pretty bright colored 4x6 cards, I've picked out a couple of neutral papers and trimmed them down to 4x6. So there's one, the bottom one looks like just plain gray, but it is a light gray with a really dark gray polka dot, a very small polka dot, so it looks gray. And at the top I've got this kind of diamondy grid pattern. I love it. I have to admit that's probably my favorite pattern in this whole kit, and so I was a tiny bit hesitant about chopping that up and putting it in there. My hoarding tendencies kicked in there, but I'm going to use that for the title card. Now, as usual, a die cut pack, just absolutely chock full of die cuts. There are some really fun ones in this kit. Couple there I just picked out, a little band-aids. There's 3 little band-aids in there, which is really fun. Whole heap of pretty florals in there too. And I'm actually not going to end up using too many of these die cuts. You can see I've picked out a few. One is a very large word down the bottom that says noteworthy. It's in 3 individual little pieces, so it took me a while to find all of those there, and I pulled out a banner, a little door hanger looking peace and quiet thing at the top, which I thought was perfect as well. And I did pull out one of those band-aids, but I'm not going to end up using one, unfortunately. So my first 3x4 card, I put my photo towards the bottom of the card so that I could do a little bit of typed journaling underneath the sentiment that's on the card. So it says lazy days. It was perfect for this very wintry spring storm that we had. It stormed outside and we sat inside by the fire with the candles burning. So I just added a little bit of journaling in underneath the title. And my first 3x4 photo, I literally just stuck on the die cut, which says perfectly content. I will add to that later on, FYI, but for now, all I'm doing is sticking that down onto my photo. So you can see I'm not like avoiding all of the color, just minimizing it as much as I can. So for the second 3x4 card, I'm pretty much doing the same thing. I adhered my photo and typed some journaling down the bottom, but I did just use a knife and my craft mat to kind of just cut out that little banner shape so that I could tuck my photo up in there so you can still see it. I didn't want to cover that up. It was super cute, and it does add just that tiny little bit of color. So that was a fun way to alter that card to make sure I can see the whole card, but I can also fit my photo on there. Now for my second 3x4 photo, I added one of those little vellum phrase strips. Again, just a tiny bit of color before I went ahead and like really had to force that photo through my typewriter. It does not love photo paper, and so the typing's a little bit messy, but it's in there, and that's as good as it's going to get. Now for my little noteworthy title down here, what I've done is loosely adhered that with a bit of tape runner, and then I'm going to take it over to my sewing machine and just stitch through all of those letters. Now what I did was change the thread in my typewriter so that it was this bright pink, again just adding a very small pop of colour to this otherwise neutral card, but it does pull out a whole lot of the other pinks that are in my photos. Now, because I've only adhered it very loosely and then added that stitching, it makes it really easy to tuck my photos in underneath, and then I can just bend them back and add a little bit of adhesive to the top. So everything's super stuck down, but those photos aren't actually stitched. And this is really sad because this is a really cute little stamp set in this kit, but I've literally only added one stamp on this entire spread, and that was Legendary Meal, because it really was a legendary meal. Now I have documented this event, this spring snow, more than once now. It was definitely noteworthy. And so this one I'm not adding a whole lot to. I'm just going to add one of these tickets. I did cut off the piece that says forever. It didn't really make a whole lot of sense for this photo, but what I want to do is create just a little background spots that I can use these really fun alphas, my favorite alphas. These ones are in white, and I'm just going to add Snow Day in here, but I made the tiny mistake of not starting on the right hand side, and I've run out of room. Luckily I hadn't put those letters down too firmly to start off with, so I pulled them back up and started again. The other great thing about this little ticket piece is it's got some lines on it, so it makes it super easy for me to get these alphas straight, which is the only other thing that I struggle with these really fun little foam alphas. And just FYI, there are a whole bunch of these alphas in the Citrus Twist shop right now in a whole bunch of colors, and you can bet I have restocked my stash. Now this little die cut, I think, is like one of those kind of hotel door hanger sort of things, and I could not work out how to put it onto my photo. Because it's rounded on both sides, it just looked a bit strange. So what I decided to do was cut off the actual kind of door hanger piece and just stick it onto my photo, and I'm kind of covering up the rounded edge of the bottom with a puffy sticker and a couple of little enamel dots. I'm going really minimal on those enamel dots and the puffy sticker hearts because, again, just trying to add little pops of color, so I'm not adding as many as I probably want to, because look at those colors. Now when I did the title card cutting of this paper here, I trimmed it out so that I'm going to use the piece that has these sort of fake sellotape stains, I guess, at the top. And so just to make sure that that's really kind of emphasized, I added another one of those vellum phrase strips, and I'm going to add another little label underneath here, and again with the same pink stitching. So just trying to repeat as many elements as I can, because I'm not adding color, so I don't have that kind of repetition with the color. I am trying to add some of the same elements throughout. So I've got the stitching and those little, wow, it's the vellum strips. I've got a couple, but I've also got that die cut, and they're all kind of in those sort of mutedy green tones. And I've got a couple of little spots where I've added those puffy hearts, and I'm going to add another puffy heart into this title card as well to just give me those sort of 3 spots. And I find that when I'm trying to get some sort of consistency in a spread, that repeating elements like that can really help. Now I was looking at this layout thinking, oh, something's just not right, and I think what it was is that I had two sort of words with these white pretty alphas, and I really did need a third, so I'm going to sacrifice some E's and add to this little phrase here. So now it says perfectly content here, and then call this layout all done. It felt a little bit strange for me to be avoiding color this week, but in the end I'm really happy with how this turned out. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you want to keep watching, there are a couple more videos on screen. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Bye guys.